What's good, Reapers? What's going on, man? So, I said that I was gonna try to make the channel be, I wanted to follow a specific subject matter. If y'all have been following the channel recently, I've been touching on a lot of kind of life experiences and things like that, talking about romance and relationships. My main focus with a lot of the channel and the podcast is basically self-improvement and goal hunting, right? But I also told y'all I was gonna get into some of my philosophical ideologies as far as, you know, who I am as a person and my outlook on life. And if you guys follow me on Facebook, if y'all follow me on Instagram or whatever the case may be, it doesn't take long for you to tell that I'm straight up, I'm pro-black. You see what I'm saying? 100%. And something that was on my mind, and I got into conversation. A lot of times, if I got some free time on my hands, I see some, I don't want to say racist, I'm gonna say some dumb shit on my timeline. I don't mind getting on there and kind of going back and forth with somebody. The whole purpose a lot of times just for me trying to almost educate people on a certain on an aspect of life that they really don't understand. You see what I'm saying? Because I really feel like in today's society, yes, there is obviously a lot of racism, but a lot of, I think, is what's going on today is just a lack of empathy. I think it's a lack of understanding of someone else's pain, somebody else's experiences and life issues and things like that. And I feel like that derives from just a separation of culture. So get into what had happened, right, is it was a topic about something that's very big right now, and that's police brutality, right? To it with one of these dudes, and he was basically saying that no matter what the situation, he's going to side with the cops because he knows experiences where there's a lot of people who get shot or fucked up by the police because they was doing dumb shit. Here's my issue with this, right? So I'm gonna start first and foremost by saying I'm not a cop hater, right? I feel it's wrong to generalize anybody in any circumstances 100%. That's straight up, right? So by no means am I a cop hater. But here's my issue with this, right? If you look, right, in the history and the timeline of black people, right, you go back to, well, we won't even go back to slavery. We'll go back to Reconstruction Era. For those of you who don't know, Reconstruction Era was basically post-slavery when America was supposed to try to basically reincorporate black people into society and get them indoctrinated and be able to make it to where they can survive on their own, have their own businesses and stuff like that, which to a certain degree was working for a while, and then it ultimately failed when basically the North, or what was the Union, decided to leave the South and allow the South to do what they want to do. That's when Jim Crow came about, right? Here's the issue. The divide, the issues between black people and police run back 200 to 300 years, right? And what I don't like about when white people take their stances, there's a reason why you guys are looking at it from the perspective that you're looking at. So put you like this, right? Going back to Reconstruction, you had cops who were actually KKK members. You got cops that were overseeing black people getting hung up and roasted over fires, getting mutilated, their dicks chopped off, arms, legs, feet. They were roasting children. They were out there doing some foul shit. And if you think I'm just making shit up off the top of my head, you can look it up and look up what they call nigger barbecues and see the history of what they was doing. There was cops in the crowd watching what was happening, right? So you go from there, and then you fast forward another, say, 100 years or so, maybe give or take. In the 1960s, what do you have? You have the Black Panther Party that comes up, right? They come up in 1960 in California. They were formed by Huey P. Newton, and forgive me, I forgot the other founder's name. Slipped in my head. I'm a little annoyed right now, but they were formed, right? Their main mission was to fight against police brutality. Separate, this is a 100-year gap now, right? They had chapters within a couple years all over the country from black people that wanted the same thing. It's not a coincidence that they all felt the same way about police all throughout the country. Who's the only ones that doesn't have that issue? White people, right? Fast forward, right? Now we're gonna go up into we'll go up into the 90s, right? You got the Rodney King riots, right? And when the riots happened, when they was arresting people and they was asking why they was doing what they was doing, you kept hearing black people saying this has been going on, but they just finally got it on camera. So now it's the 90s. This is 30 years after the fact. Then you fast forward into the modern day era, and then you have Black Lives Matter saying the same thing. Is it not a coincidence that over a 250-year gap that black people have been saying the same thing about these people, and the only people who seem to not understand it are the people that aren't living it? And here's the thing, right? I want to get into we want to go into words a little bit, right? So you talk about empathy and sympathy. Empathy is basically to understand someone's pain, right? A mother can understand seeing another mother cry about losing her child. That's empathy, right? Sympathy is, well, it derives from the Greek words to suffer. It's to suffer with somebody, right? That's to feel someone's pain, for you to grieve with them, right? Here's what's so fucked up, and here's the reason why I feel like a lot of what's going on is not racism, is really just misunderstanding and ultimately just a lack of empathy from other races in America, right? You look at it, if you look at the agenda being pushed on TV, the reason why they call every black person that gets shot a criminal, the reason why they call every black person that gets shot a gangbanger, and they try to make them look dangerous, is because they understand that if you're white, you're never gonna experience a cop fucking you up. You're never gonna experience a cop beating up your friend. You're never gonna experience a cop shooting somebody you know or somebody in your neighborhood. I remember when I was, I might have been like 8 or 9 years old when they shot Sean Bell 50 times. I was living in Mount Vernon. He's from Mount Vernon. I remember when that happened. I remember seeing people that I knew get beat the fuck up by cops and seeing how swelled up their face was after the fact. I remember seeing these things. I remember walking through the mall, making eye contact with a cop, and him putting his hand on his gun. I didn't even say anything to him. So I lived through that. A white person never gonna see that. They only see what they see on the news, right? And what the social agenda is, and I'm gonna get into systematic racism. Believe me, I got history on all this shit. I could fill motherfuckers in 100%. I'm not just speaking out of my ass. I'm actually, all this is gonna be legitimate information that's archived in America's like governments, documents, all this stuff. It's all documented. It's all factual. But you sit there and you see all these things that's going on, right? They're gonna present it to you to make it to where you can't empathize with the other communities, right? And here's why empathy is so important. Let's say Tamir Rice, for example, right? Tamir Rice in Ohio, they shot that little boy in 30 seconds. He had a fucking BB gun. They came up and killed that little boy in 30 seconds. Barely even gave him a chance to even explain or process the situation. He's a teenager. He's not even really a teenager. He's a child, right? Here's the reason why they don't want you guys to have empathy. Because if you are a human being, at the end of the day, a mother is going to understand another mother's tears about losing their child. But here's where they get you. The Cleveland Police Department didn't claim any fault in what happened to Tamir Rice. But they paid his family $1.5 million. It was in the millions. You never heard from his family again. That was hush money. You know why? Because the more that you would have seen his mother or his grandmother or his family on camera crying, it builds empathy. And guess what? Empathy breeds change. That's why the civil rights movement worked. Because white people who were in their little suburban areas and just start that, everything's all peachy clean, when they saw motherfuckers getting bit by these big ass dogs, getting beat and heads split open and spit on and all this other shit, they was like, what the fuck is going on over here? It opened their eyes. It created empathy. They was understanding someone's pain. And that's important. They don't want that. Now again, I'm gonna go deeper into this, but I just had to speak on it because you hear a lot of people say shit like dwelling in the past and don't blame me for it. I'm not blaming nobody for nothing. But at the end of the day, if you're not a part of the solution, you're part of the problem. If you're sitting there backing motherfuckers that's killing people who don't have guns, I'll tell you something. There's not a single soul watching this right now, a single soul on this earth that has not broken a law before. Period. I don't give a fuck who you are. No one's perfect. There's a reason why there's a court system in place to trial people. You see what I'm saying? So, I didn't want to get too deep into this, man, because I go on my tangents and I get to preaching, but I really just had to get this off my chest because I feel like there needs to be someone speaking for this shit. And again, I don't think a lot of these people, and the reason why is because I interact with a lot of these motherfuckers, right? Me being in the Marine Corps is a conservative type branch. A lot of these motherfuckers ain't racist. They're really just uninformed. They don't know what the fuck's going on outside their little suburb. That's just really what it is. But it's crazy because people with a lack of knowledge, the lesser knowledge they have, the stronger the opinion they have, which is dangerous. Because you sitting there, you're gonna take sides and stand on your 2 feet. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten into it with somebody and I started filling them in on history, especially motherfuckers that say systematic racism doesn't exist. And Lord, that video, I'm gonna try my best not to be preachy and not to be like a teacher, but I'm gonna fill motherfuckers in on what the truth is, because a lot of people are living in this false reality, right? And I'm gonna touch on that. But this is really important to me because I'm hoping that as my channel grows, a lot of my audience is going to be black people. And I'm trying to get young black males such as myself, along with getting their body right, along with becoming less emotional, along with chasing goals. I want them to have pride in themselves and to understand how to maneuver around this bullshit. There's a lot of racism that you're going to experience. Right now, I work on the most racist shipyard in Virginia. 100%. You ask anybody that's from out here, they'll tell you. Well, anybody who doesn't already work in management at this motherfucker because they don't want to admit it. They'll tell you 100%. Racist is a bitch. I experienced this shit. I gotta maneuver with this shit. And I gotta defend myself against this bullshit. So I understand what type of time it is. Again, I grew up a bit different from a lot of people my age. So my outlook on things, my experiences on things, my knowledge on things is a lot different. But at the end of the day, we all need to have some type of solidarity and some type of understanding of where we are in life and where we are in America. This shit's getting out of hand. So that's my take on it, man. I'm gonna get up with y'all, man. Y'all know what it is. We don't chase dreams, we hunt goals. Reaper training. Tune in, like, comment, subscribe. I'm coming up.